Hey, this is a little intro. This is the Manny from School Self Mastery, and the video and what I did with this video. This was a video that I took about 3 days ago. Is going to show what it takes to feel like this Buddhist sensation, this Buddhist feeling, where they basically feel emptiness, or they basically feel, let's say, void, or probably a better word, neutrality, neutral sort of state, like neutral, like observant, like inside state. And there's also the blissful state, the bliss, the emotion, the state where life sort of like just easily happens. And it's what Christians talk about when you are filled with the Spirit. The quality of your actions are good. Okay, when you're filled with the Spirit, you feel joy. That's what it says in the Bible. You feel joyous, you feel great, you feel awesome. That's what this is all about. So what you're going to see is probably and it's going to be a little weird, or a little unorthodox, because what you're going to see is me putting the camera. I was just thinking, okay, I'm going to just say some stuff, but I wanted to make sure I was in a blissful state. So what you'll see probably for the first, maybe I think like 30 minutes to an hour or 45 minutes, is me sort of, and this is what I do on a daily basis, and I feel releases on my body, and I feel like, I feel bliss like every, like probably like 3/4 of the day, 3/4 of the day. That's when I feel bliss. The other time I'm usually like kind of like observant or neutral, as I said, or like kind of exploring, learning things around me, and so that I can then absorb and then kind of make myself go into that. And eventually those things that I learn, I teach it, or I explain it, and I'm in a blissful state as I explain what I learned. So that's how Buddhist teachers are. They are like this, according to sources online. So this is how they are. This is how they operate. It took me a while to get to this state, but you're going to see firsthand on what it takes for me and others to actually do this, to feel this, because many people are wishing to feel this. They want to feel this for themselves. They're seeking happiness, and just recently I realized I have to put my happiness or my bliss before material things, before material possession, before materialism. That's what I have to do, and I wasn't aware of that. And so if you don't do that, you'll lose your happiness, because you're more concerned about, like, let's say, getting a paycheck, and so you'll lose that happiness. So it's like these little things daily, whether it's small, it's so like big, like such a huge awareness, like a huge like new beginning or new expansion, creates so much difference. And yet it's like, tiny, simple thing, simple belief change, or just a truth that helps you throughout life, and throughout everything that you go through, throughout everything that you have with Jesus and God and all that. Like, I would call myself a spiritual teacher that loves Jesus, that serves Him, and that explores religion to understand what these truths are, because ultimately I want to feel happiness all the time. I want to feel bliss all the time, and there's a way to do that. And people have told me, you can't do it. You can't make that happen. I experienced bliss for like 3 weeks nonstop through my effort, through my conscious effort. But then I got a little exhausted. Like, I got like, man, I had to put effort. I want it to be easy, just like how I'm doing right now. It's like easy. It's not like I'm putting effort to do it. You understand? So I went through lots of trials where God sort of had to perfect my soul to get to feel these things. And I would feel it, glimpses in my life, but I wouldn't necessarily have it down packed like all the time. So what you're going to see is what self-discovery, life mastery, self-discovery people, teachers, trainers talk about when it's when you're clearing out energy, you're clearing out the stuff that's kind of, because basically think of all that, the lies you have been told about how to live life. They're stored in your body, and then science is discussing this as medical journals, or medical, I would say people, doctors, discuss this, and pardon the noise, that our bodies, our DNA, basically each thing that we think, it stores itself inside your cells, and it basically forms who you are. So when you realize, when you focus on being godly, heavenly, holy, benevolent, your body literally starts to change into morph, into to expel things that you do not need, you do not want, you don't want to have, and it will actually do that. And this comes from when you have that desire, that true need, that true determination, that true sincerity of like being a good person, good being, good man, good woman, good animal, good species, whatever gender you are, or animal you are, you literally form and morph to that. You will morph to become what you want to become. So it's literally like you are your future. You are what you see in your mind, and you literally keep going through life, learning like, oh, something didn't go your way. Keep learning. Why didn't it go my way? What do I have to do? All these things, and making that change within yourself, and seeing how external reality is accommodating who you are as a person. That's important. Who you are as a person determines what you experience in life. Who you are, not your body, not who you think you are, who you actually are. Because you can think you're a good person, but are you really a good person? Is that truly what you are? Are you truly a holy being? Are you truly a bad person? Are you truly not doing anything for your life? Knowing these things, knowing what you're actually doing, the truth, the reality, that's important. Because, I mean, I can tell you, when I was growing up, I didn't really have people or have like trust with society. And they tell me like Santa Claus is real, and like I see people who are Jesus followers, and they're fake, like they're not real, and I'll be like, what kind of society is this? Like, what is true? Like I mean, I didn't know this. I mean, I just hated those people that were fake, like Jesus followers. I just hated them. Like, I just hated them. Like, to my very core, I just hated them so much. And the thing is, a lot of people, they just don't know. They don't know. They don't know they're bad. They don't know they're good. They don't know they're benevolent. They don't know they're holy. They don't know. The mind will play tricks on them and tell them that they're not who they are. Something I discovered is when you believe a lie, when you believe something that is false, it feels horrible, it feels bad, it feels negative. When you believe something that is true, it feels good. So when they say the truth hurts, that's not the truth. It's not the truth. The truth is you're awesome. You're an awesome being. You're an awesome person. That's the truth. But the lies will make you want to feel like you're not. And then you believe them. I was like that too. You believe all these things, but in reality, in essence, who you are as a person, who you are, your spirit, is awesome. It's perfect. But you don't see that. Because you're thinking like, oh, like not the spirit. You're thinking, oh, I have no money, or I have a gut. Like, I have no girlfriend. I have no religion. I have no religious belief. Like, I'm just a bad person. Like, you will think that. But the truth is you're not. And once you get past all those lies, you start to find the essence of who you are. That's what I'm here for. That's what I learned. That's what I discovered. And I had to go through so many things to get here. My life was an experiment. Like, was like, okay, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try that, learn this, learn that. What's the result? And I would do things that people would say is so awesome, and I would feel like shit, like crap. I feel horrible. I feel shitty. Like, I'll feel like, man, they say this is good, but like, I feel shitty right now. I feel like a whore. I feel like a bad person. Like, I feel bad. So it kind of had me thinking, like, what is really what's out there? What's really the best thing to do? And until, this is very important, I tell you this. I meditated, I did training, you know, I opened up parts of my brain, but I was one part of my brain I couldn't open, and I felt that. I was like, man, why can't I access that? Like, I tried almost everything. I tried everything except, and then I tried going through life trying to see if I can do it without being devoted to holiness. I thought there's a different way. There's got to be a different way to go through life. Like, I don't have to be this holy, like what Jesus says, or like what Christians claim, or what anybody claims that's on a religious standpoint. I don't have to be those things to have a good life, to have a great life, to have life eternal. I don't have to have those things. And then it came to me, and one day I was like, you know, I was trying to get affection, I was trying to get love. Nothing was working. So I said, you know what? I gotta do something else. The one thing I haven't tried, or like the only thing I can think of I haven't tried, that I haven't really given my whole heart to, is being holy, devoting myself to be the holiest being ever, like on the planet, like alive, like in the world, like in my life, like in reality, like in this plane, in this existence. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. Like, that's it. I opened my, I sort of like I closed my eyes. This was probably about like maybe like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. In between there, maybe like a year and 8 months, a while ago. That's when I was throwing these punch things, records on Facebook. That's when I was doing it, and I wanted like I guess like compliments, or like, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. Like, nothing. I didn't get anything. No one. So I was like, alright, so I'm a good fighter, I'm a good person. What do I gotta do to make this like even better? Like, to make myself holy, to make myself true. So I just said, okay. I sat down and I wrote down, like, I gave my heart to holiness. That's what I did. I gave my heart to holiness. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm gonna do this. This is it. Like, this is my life. Like, this is what I'm doing, what I'm going for. Because I figured, you know, physical things will fail you, but your willpower to be a holy person, it can't. It's like up to your willpower, up to your will to actually become that. Like, there's no like circumstance around you that can change that about you. You have complete, like, you have total dominion or dominance of yourself, of who you are going to be. You have that. So I said holiness is like untouchable. Like, it can't be destroyed unless I destroy it within myself. Unless I do that. So I said, if I can do that, if I can be the holiest person, I got it. Like, I got it. Like, that's something I can be great at. I could be good at that, amazing at that. I can be perfect at that. So that's what I opened my arms, like, kind of like I was on the cross. Or I just was like, okay. I was like, just do it. Like, I'm in. Like, all in. Like, I'm going at it, going for it, 100%. Like, nothing stop. Like, unless something better comes along, unless something more awesome happens, then I'm not gonna like change this. So that's what I did. I did that. I went for it. And then immediately I was watching a success workshop, like a goal sheet thing, and it says put your ideal first, because it says if you set your ideal, like, I want to be a peacekeeper, and then you say, okay, what? And then you write all the goals to make you realize that ideal, to make you be that idea, and then this is the fruits of what that idea holds. You understand? Like, what comes out of that seed? It's like a seed, and this is the ideal, is the seed, and then what you have in your heart, and then that's what kind of comes out, and then you have all these things that you aspire to do, or to give to others, or to peace keep. Like, you know, you say, like, then you write your goals would be something like, okay, when my friends are arguing, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put my hands on their shoulders and say, look, we're brothers. There's no need to fight. And then you do that, and then you write more goals, and all of them to realize these, to exemplify, to bring out this ideal into the world, and then you represent that ideal. So mine was holiness, being the holiest person ever, or in reality, like in this plane, like in this dimension, in this place. That's what it was. So immediately I started writing goals, helping Detroit, like helping all these people, and then after that I started repenting. I started repenting and saying, going on the ground, like praying, like saying, God, like, I'm sorry I did all that stuff, and I truly and sincerely felt sorry, and I didn't, and I was like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do that stuff again. I don't want that life. And so after that, eventually, after I kept doing that and using techniques, using what you're gonna see in this video, in the next segment of what I did, things like, you start coughing, you can start throwing up. It's like your body's trying to enter like this more benevolent, like this state, this blissful state, that you've had all these baggages stopping you from experiencing that bliss, that ecstasy, all that. So it's important to go through all that. So what you're gonna see is like no filtered like thing of what I do, or what my journey, what my stuff is, what my baggage is, what my negative, like my lies that have been implanted inside my soul, and how in my body, as well, in my chest area, my pectus area, that's where all of it is located, and how it comes out. Like I start coughing, I start like going like it's ways of kind of like, if you study like yoga, it's ways of like energy kind of coming out, like clearing the way, meridians opening up. Now I walk better, I walk easy. It's getting easy, and some of you may take it, maybe flat-footed, may have posture problems, and those are all due to all that stuff you carry inside your body. And once you release it, your body starts to feel better. You literally feel like kind of like heat rushes, or like kind of like sweat will just kind of come out in certain areas, and it's literally coming out, and you feel like your body like changes, and your body will start cracking, and it'll start like, it's like aligning itself. It's aligning itself to reality, to life. Some of you may realize you have balance problems. You can't balance well, you can't do all these things. And if you notice that your neck is probably really forward, so whenever you bend down, let's say if you're a skateboarder, you bend down, your body's not at a perfect center of gravity, so you're not going to jump that well. If you're doing squats, if your body's not at the perfect center of gravity, you're not going to be able to squat perfectly. That's just how it goes. So you may realize some parts of your body are not necessarily like firm, like they're not. It's like they're missing muscle, like they're missing something. That's because some areas of your body are taking that away. Some areas are more tense, and those things get really loose. And so you have to kind of accommodate for that. You have to kind of, once you release all that stuff that's like wherever, like in your body that's tight, and that's too tight, like it's not good, it then allows energy to go to other places, and then those places that feel like that they're missing something, missing like muscle, or missing like blood or flow or energy, they start to fill up. And then you'll notice when those energies fill up, you're now walking better. You're like, whoa, I can turn so easy now. It feels so easy. And then you have it, and then it's like you realize, oh my god, this is like another level. And then on top of that, you start feeling better more. You start feeling amazing often. At first, once I repented and did all these things, I activated this part of my brain. I was able to see heaven's culture. Heaven, I saw heaven for myself, heaven, and what it was like, and like what it feels like, and what it's about. And then I started feeling that in my life. It wasn't quick. And another, it was kind of slowly, like it slowly happened. After I repented, after I kept doing all those exercises you're going to see, like coughing, and I kept doing all that stuff. For example, it took me like 3 hours to be able to tell the truth. I didn't tell the truth, like to myself, to anybody, like to God. Like I didn't tell the truth, and I realized I didn't, and I had to go through so much stuff, like layers of stuff. It took me 3 hours, like coughing, like shaking, and all these things. And I was finally able to look at myself in the mirror in my right eye and say, I tell the truth. I was actually able to have that resonate in my body. Because sometimes you can say, oh, I'm perfect, right? I'm perfect, but and you can't resonate with it. Like it's not like resonating inside you. You say it, but you don't feel it. Like you don't feel you're perfect. You don't feel that. And so you say, okay, what do I got to do so I can actually feel that for real? And you say, well, I believe that I'm stupid. Like I'm bad. I believe I'm bad. And then you say, okay, well, I'm gonna dedicate myself to God, to holiness. I'm gonna do it and be sincere about it. I'm gonna be genuine. Like that's what I want. Like I'm doing it. Like that's it. Like that's all I want. And then you do it. And then you're inspired. Like you're now able to say, like after you add on to that, like, oh, I'm gonna be holy, and then I'm gonna repent. I'm gonna talk to my parents well, talk good to people. I'm gonna be happy with the way God made things, with the way God repented by sending himself or his creation to then get crucified, and how he repented for his mistake on not creating us and making us have the knowledge or have the knowing to not do sin, to not make mistakes, to not be evil. Because we didn't get that. And a lot of people, my dad doesn't agree, like is reluctant to understand this. We see a lot of Christians, like even they say God is perfect and all these things, all that. If a perfect being cannot create imperfect creations. That's just how things go. That's just how it is. That's just the fact. That's just reality. That's just how it is. If you're perfect, what comes out of you will be perfect, and will not, and cannot destroy itself. Cannot be destroyed. We were destroyed. We fell to sin, fell to all these things, fell to temptation, fell to the devil, or to bad things, bad vibes, bad energy. We fell. Why? And this is because I wanted to know for myself, like, why? Why did it happen? God didn't think it through. God didn't think all the way through. He didn't think of all the ways that we could lose, we could fall victim to ourselves. I got freaked out. Fall victim to ourselves. He didn't give us that like awareness, that knowledge to be able to go to the tree and be like, oh no, to actually have the knowledge, oh, this serpent is tricking me, or has bad intentions, or he has good intentions. We didn't know, and so we fell. A perfect being, a perfect person who had thought it through, who thought of the worst, would not allow that to happen, would not create something that could fall, that can do all these things. Now, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying God's bad. I'm not saying God's in it. That it's just like, like parents, they didn't think it through. They didn't think of what their creation would do. It's the same way. It's the same thing. So when he realized what he did that was wrong, like what he created, what his fault was, he eventually sent Jesus. He sent Jesus, who lived a good life, who can show us what a good life was. And he said, look, I will sacrifice myself, my child, my perfect person for you. Because I made a mistake. I did this to you. I am at fault for this. And so God repented. God said, I'm sorry, follow him, and he will show you the way. That gave me sort of at ease. I was like eased up. Like I was like, oh. I was like, oh, it's not just me. Like, it's not my fault completely, like, in all things. It's not my fault. Because people say, I mean, Eckhart Tolle was just saying this, you know, spiritual leader, teacher, treat everything as if like, it was your fault. But then he says, like, but as if it were, but, like, don't get so into it. Like, it's not really, like, something to think about. Like, don't tell me something to think about, but take responsibility, right? And for me, I thought, man, so I made all this, like, the world's messed up, everything's shitty, and it's my fault. It's my fault. And I was like, damn, like, I didn't want none of that to happen, though. Like, I didn't want that. I didn't want the world to be crappy, shit, horrible. I didn't want that. I didn't want it. So I was like, man, so what's the deal here? Like it must be like so bad or so evil. And then that would kind of eat at me. Like that would eat at my spirit, like at my body. Like it would just kill me. Like I was like, man, like I guess I'm just a bad person. And then I didn't want to settle for that because I was like, I'm not feeling good with this, so something's off. Like I'm not doing something right. Like I'm not understanding something, and so I was kind of like at war with that. I war with that idea because I wanted to know. So I asked myself, and this is why Matrix trilogy was my favorite, or is the most philosophical, like inspirational, or like awesome. Great movie. Like they're awesome. Like the Wachowski brothers, like the director, like the writers, like oh, it's so amazing, like so good. I would watch this once. I would watch it like over and over. I'd be like, I want to understand that. I want to get it. Like I want to understand like everything they're saying. And I watched it since it came out till like probably about like 4 years ago. And I would still, even to this day, probably like until like a year ago, I'd watch the scene in Matrix Reloaded all the time to see if I could understand it, like to understand like God and or how everything was created. And I'm gonna tell it to you right now. When Neo comes in, he comes to see the Merovingian, who's basically like the information holder of, like, if you want to say like Illuminati of some like place, like of the world or like of life. Of the Matrix, like that's who he was. Like he was like that guy, like that's him. So he would say, I'm a trafficker of information. I know everything that I can. He knows like so much, like so many things, and so many things about the Matrix, about what was going on in that world. So, and Neo comes to them with Morpheus and Trinity, and Neo says, "Oh, we need give us the keymaker, like give us access to him." And the Merovingian, he sort of like jokingly, just like, do you know why you need the keymaker? And they look, Neo like looks puzzled. He's like, I think so. Like he's like, yeah. And then the Merovingian goes, he kind of like all like proud or like condescending, like egotistical, ego-centered, egomaniac or something, egomaniac. In his like, you know what I mean, like that, like like he goes, you think you do, but you do not. Like you think you know why. You think you know why you're here, but you have no fucking idea. You have no fucking clue. You have no clue whatsoever. And he says, you're just another link in the chain. You're just another person following orders, following what the powerful, what the people who know. What the whole like plan is, or like what the elite are telling you to do. What the you're just following. You're just a sheep. You don't know what's going on. So that to me, like I mean, saying it now, I kind of see it a lot more now because I never explained it this far, and I don't know what this awareness either, not realizing what he said, or I did in my own way. I had a teacher who told me you don't really know much, do you? You really know anything, do you? Know anything? And I was like, no, I know bad. I don't know good. I know bad stuff, bad things, but I don't really know any good stuff. I don't really know good things, like good stuff. So it kind of had me thinking, like, man, like, what is it that I know? And I was like, do I actually love others? It turned out, I was like in actuality, do I actually love people? Like, and I didn't. I thought I did. See, you think you like love people, you think you all that, but you really don't. I didn't. At least I did not. So that scene or that part, that's exactly how Neo was. Like, he thought he knew what was happening, what he was meant for. Like, he had no idea. And you see that when you watch the rest of the movie. When you watch Revolutions or at the end of Reloaded, when he meets a certain person, a certain being, program or machine, who explains how the Matrix was built, who explains, about, it was the sixth time, it was sixth or time, I believe, sixth or fifth time, it was recreated, it was done again, and that there is an anomaly known as the One who disrupts the entire equation that they could never fix, that they could not kind of protect, or like from making everything go weird, crazy, different, not in their order, not in their, because the machines would use people, because the machines needed people to live this life that was, like how we live it, like standard life, like go to school, like work, go at some job you don't like, or that you like if you're lucky or blessed to do that, and live in this kind of like painful place. And they would use that and use you to charge their whole city, like, because the machines would do that, and not in the Matrix, not in the real world, like in the real world of the Matrix movies. That's what they would do, since the machines and Neo's people and the humans were in the real world, not in the computer simulation of the Matrix. What they were about, like what they went against those humans, and the humans went against the machine. Like, they went against the humans, we'll say that. And that's what happened. So they went against the humans, and so the humans, to defend themselves, they blacked out the sky so that the machines couldn't get solar energy to power themselves up. But then the machines responded and started grabbing people and putting them in these pods, because we would emit heat, and they would use us like a battery, like batteries. And they would use us to charge their whole city, and they would have farms of people just everywhere, just in all high and low, and they would have farms for us. And that's how it is. It's not like that here. It's not. We have to sort of just like understand like what's happening, and be the Neos, be those people that wake up, that understand, like they can, break free of this whole thing. They break free of our own prison that we set in our own heads, our own prison of our minds. That there's no system in place, that we are that we create, like we create reality, like we create what we want to create, what we want, what like in this world, and that's it. That's our job as a species, to do that, to be able to get out of, to break out of that mental prison that hold on our lives. And so Jesus comes along in our world, in our reality, in our universe, or like DC universe, this is the Jesus universe, or like the DC comics, like of our time or something, of our world, our reality, of our space and time, our space. He comes in, he's like, look, I got the answers, I'm gonna show you the way. And he's the Neo of, in the Matrix. Neo is Jesus in a way, in a kind of sort of philosophical sense, in a truthful sense, like in a way of breaking out, of knowing the truth, of waking up, of being light, being God, serving, or being God, holy, like grateful, or gratitude, God grateful, or God serving, God I want to say souls, spirits, God souls that understand where they're from, where they come from. Now this part is going to be a little tricky, it can be a blast to your ego, a blast to some people's understanding of everything. But this is important to understand, important to kind of understand like how all the religions tie into one another. This is the next part. Okay. The God of Islam, right, is the God of all things, all of it. The gods of the, and Prophet Muhammad was the explainer of that God. He explained it. Now, in the Quran, or in Islam, good people are good people. They go to heaven like they're good. They're protected. They're great. Like they're true. Like they're, you know, like you may not have to you may not be like, you may not say you're Islam or like you're a good person. But if you are a good person, like you're a good person, you know what I mean? You're good, you know what I mean? And that's good. Like they're very holy people. They're very good people. Okay. Then there's the Indian religion. There's like all these gods, right? Well, all these gods came from the Islam God. Okay, they all came from him, right? And then now this is the tricky part. This is the one that kind of like shakes the boat a little bit. Well, before I get into that, well, let's get into it and then I'll explain. Buddhism or Buddhist thought is not a religion. It's just how the mind operates, how you can feel, you know, bliss or enlightenment, or how it feel like nirvana or like awesome, right? But they explain it's about the mind, mostly all of it, and it's not a religion. It's not like a spiritual thing, a spiritual practice. It's a mental practice. It's like what psychology is literally attempting to understand. That's what they're trying to do. Because having that pure bliss state of mind or state of awareness, that's everything. That's basically what psychology is all meant for. It's all meant for that. It's all meant for being bliss or being happy and, you know, being good with like things and good with life and or good with yourself, like experiencing that. You know, that's what it's about. That's what you do. Like that's what we want. Like that's what it's for. To be able to do that. Now, people who have multiple personality disorders, all these things, they don't have Jesus or have that brain balance that can be fixed through repenting and through the seeking of true sincerity of genuine desire to be a holy person. They kind of like they block all those things, and then they kind of have to develop all these things in order to cope, to survive. You know, to survive in this world, to survive in reality, to survive in the kingdom. And I say the kingdom of Jesus, the kingdom of, like, they're kind of very oblivious, because when you become a holy person, you start to see things a lot differently. I didn't know a lot of this stuff before. I didn't know a lot of this stuff before. A lot of this stuff. And I suffered a lot from it. They don't understand, like, prayer. They don't understand, like, a lot of things. And that's the main issue here. That's the main issue. That's the main thing. When it comes to elemental disorder and all physical ailments, all physical things, is this lack of holiness, this lack of, I want to say truth, lack of understanding. Because if you don't know what's happening to you, it's highly unlikely, it's highly possible you are not committed to a holy path, to not committed to holiness, not committed to Jesus. You're not committed to all those things, because when you are, you're able to heal, you're able to relax. I mean, Jesus talks about, you know, I am pleased when you take things from me, or you come to me and I will give you rest. Like, give your things to me and I will give you rest. Give me all your worries, all your troubles, and I will give you rest. I will give you all those things. And there's a reason for that. It's because that path literally is the path to eternal life, like everlasting, to heaven, to living good, to living awesome. It's literally that trajectory. It's that path. Now, some of you, just as in the Bible says, may have all these riches, may have all these, you know, relationships, or like that are built off of lies, are built off of negative things. You got your wealth through extortion, or you got your wealth through, you know, manipulation, you got your wealth through, you know, all these things. And whether you're basking in all that, and you know people don't know all the stuff you did to get there, the truth is you were a bad person, right? It's just what you are. You're a bad person, and you may think, oh, I don't need heaven, or like heaven's like bullshit, or it's crap, and like I don't need that. Like, oh, there's all these like, I don't know, like all these like inventions. I can live forever. Like I can live for eternity. Like I can switch my mind into a different mind, or like I can live a long life, and you know all that stuff. And I don't need Jesus. I don't need none of that. That's an issue, because now you're not going to necessarily be correcting yourself. Because to go with Jesus is to actually be a good person. To agree with him is to be a good person. If you don't agree with him, you're a bad person. You're not holy. You're not true. You're not pure. You're not good. You know what I mean? You're not. That's not what you are. Now, I'm not saying I have everything that I don't see everything. I don't see everything in a holy way. I understand that. I see like evil or like bad or like sinister shit or crap. I see that, and I am aware I see that. I see that, and I'm like, I read this one book. When you truly have God within you, and I mean all aspects of your life and mind and your body, spirit, like everything. When you truly have it all within you, like all that stuff has been taken out, like all that negative, all those lies are gone. All you see is God. All you see is God. That's all you see. Everything is good. It's so beautiful. Just like when you're in love. When you're in love with someone, everything is like beautiful. Everything is like, oh, it's so amazing. Or if you did ecstasy or you do drugs, or you're like, wow, it's so awesome. And that's a state of mind. That's like a frequency you can tap into. But there's things inside you that is not allowing you to do that. And it's discovering and releasing, discovering what those are, and changing them, making them better, making them more on that higher frequency, that higher, intelligence. I'm gonna give you another example. I'm gonna give you something I didn't understand. I was told not to hate. I was told that by a teacher, right? And so I would kind of like repress that hatred, repress it, and I would feel bad for it. I'd feel negative, but I didn't understand like what it was about. So eventually, one day, I prayed, or I said, God, take all, because I used to. This is the thing. Even though I activated my parts of my brain and did all that stuff, I would still have negative self-talk, like negative talk that would make me kind of feel like all these weird emotions or weird negativity and all that stuff. So just like this one, I got this from a Praise the Lord show, Praise the Lord, Praise Network, of this pastor, this woman. I believe she was a pastor, and she talked about how startled me too. Okay, so. Usually when I hop out of bliss, just so you understand, when I hop out of that bliss, it's usually because my life's perceived to be in danger. Okay, so you understand like why I kind of like open my eyes and I kind of like get out of that like kind of blissful state. I kind of just get into like alertness, like alert, like ready for anything. You know what I mean? That's how most of my life was. That alertness, always like you say like paranoid or like. Alert, just like, what's he doing? Like, what's she doing? Like, what's that in his hand? Like, oh, what's he like? Like, don't mess with him, or like, you don't want to start something, blah 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 blah. Like, it's kind of that frame of mind, right? That's kind of like how I was most of my life, probably till about 2016 maybe, 2015, around there. That's when I started to see these things differently. And then a whole new reality, a whole new perspective kind of opened up to me, a whole new way of seeing things, a way of the truth kind of coming to light, to my eyes. And it was nice. It's beautiful. Like, and I'm so grateful that I'm here. Like, people, man, they just don't know. Like, people who suffer, like, it's like, it really is punishment. Like, it really is us being punished for not being holy and not dedicating ourselves to that path. That's literally our punishment. We punish, like, and the thing is, it's our choice, okay? But we don't know that holiness is literally what the answer is, what we're searching for. We don't know. So we're stuck in our own, like, little, like, attempts to, you know, read some book or like get some self-improvement stuff and like try and get better. When you go on some self-improvement, or some Christians or some people, they'll tell you, yeah, like all these stuff in this top-selling self-improvement book, top-selling book of like, you know, achieving your dreams or achieving, you know, mental clarity and all these, and success and money and riches or love and just good vibes or good, I don't want to say hatred. It's all in the, it's scripture has it. Like scripture contains those. Scripture has those answers, and that we're getting those. We can get that. The scripture has it as well. Okay, it has it as well. Okay, you can get it from that book, but the scripture, like from another book, but the scripture also contains that information. It contains that stuff, that wisdom, that the knowledge, that insight, that truth, that benevolence, that grace, that you seek. It's also in there. You can get it from other people, from other sources, from other teachers, but it's also in there. Okay, so it's not just in there too. I mean, like other religions, like other books. But the thing is, this is the thing: when you have your mind and body set to actually be that holy person, you then are able to receive that information properly, correctly, and use it well, use it good, use it perfectly, use it awesome, use it, you know, benevolence way of going through life, going through, you know, your trials or your problems or your job or your success or your relationships, relations, all that. It's in there, like it's around, you know. You can get it. You can get that stuff. And it's a way of knowing, it's a way of actually seeking that. Now, to go back into the Christian God, it's a more human God. It's a human God. Now, that's a little difficult to say. So, Jesus, or no, Islam, or like Allah, is the God of all, right? That's what created the whole thing. Okay, Jesus is like the God for us humans, or for the human spirit, or for the human people, for the human men and women, and that's, and also the like, and it has sort of transformed us. Transform our species, our minds, our spirits, or our God, which comes from the God of Allah, the God of the one who created the human, the God of human, or like the God of us, in the human form, and the human spirit, and the human like physical specimen body, all that. That's what came from that, from God. So now from us, I guess, from our, I guess, ideas, or our people, or I want to say like our realm of heaven. Think of a species having heaven, and this is our heaven. Okay, this is what we have. Make sense? That's clear. It's very crystal. I wish I was told this a long time ago, because I had to figure all this out. Like, not by myself, like no one does it by themselves, but I had to figure this out through like work, and like through effort, and like, you know, going to, you know, I got Baker acted, I got Baker acts, you know, going to Christ, going to like, I guess, I'm not gonna say insane asylum, but it's like a, we'll say like a, I guess insane asylum, insane place, I guess we'll say that. Insane people, place. This is called the Crisis Center. So it's called from Henderson. So Henderson Crisis Center, and basically like when you get Baker Act, you get put there. So like, let's say if you're on drugs, you're on some crazy experience or whatever you're going through, you have a kind of safe haven, so where you can come down from all that, kind of get yourself grouped together, and you go into their program, and they kind of help coach you, and like help, you know, try and like give you like space or time heal or to try and fix you or to try and give you medication and give you therapy, and give you all these things, all these like truths or all these I want to say consultation or a shoulder to cry on or a shoulder to kind of like have your back, to have you like sort of get used to this new state you now have, or like and so I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia and schizophrenic like thing. Like that was my diagnosis when I first admitted there. And I went the reason I do all this, the reason I say all this stuff is because I was, I had good grades. I was let's say elementary school, or like elementary school I got all A's, all elementary school. Middle school I got I got my first C out of all middle school. I got A's and B's, or mostly A's. I was in advanced courses, doing all that stuff. And then I was in elementary school. I was going to be enrolled in a gifted program, and like I was getting like a test or whatever. In my mind, my heart, I didn't want to leave my comrades, like my friends or my classmates, or I wanted to stick around with them. I wanted to be with them. So I kind of like flunked the test, or I kind of just like didn't do my best, like do good. I wanted to stick with them, okay? Which eventually kind of led to a bad thing, because then I was in school and it was like very simple. So I started not to care much about, like, started to slowly not give a shit, shiznit, or shitty, I don't know, care, or like shitty, I don't know, view. Like I would just do it, like, because of what else was there to do. But I mean, I mostly play video games, or like masturbate, like watch like fucking I remember this, like, I think it's like these spy girls or whatever, and I would just like masturbate, or like them, or like, I don't know, I just whatever, right? I was just kind of like not involved. I didn't really have like friends I was like really like in love with. Like I didn't really like do all that. I was more concerned about like kind of like being like a hero, being like a great person, like, all that stuff, and I felt like the school system wasn't necessarily teaching me that. So eventually when I got into high school, like I was kind of like 9th grade, I was pretty happy. I was happy, like I was high school, like, talk to girls, or like talk to people, like, just have fun, like, right? I kind of had a high energy. Then throughout my life, when I was born, I had this, I guess I want to say disorder, this defect called pectus excavatum. Okay, so pectus excavatum is basically, it's like a concave of the chest, and it's like, basically it concaves in, and like I had to get surgery, and these are the scars. And basically they would put a bar through, I think it was titanium or stainless steel. Like I had surgery twice, but that happened after I saw the doctor. They said that it could eventually form, get deeper, and like you can have problems. So you have to get surgery, or you might want to consider surgery. And I'm like, I don't want problems in the future, so let's do it, right? When I got the surgery, man, I was in the ICU for, well, it was, they gave me, just so I didn't really understand the pain because I was on pain meds, pain stuff, but imagine, like, I guess they say that they stick a bar and then they have to open your cage, and like put it, kind of expand it, like kind of like move everything, and kind of like put like rib cages like this. So then they have to kind of like move the whole thing like this, like that, and so that moves a lot of things. And eventually they said that they would put the things for, I guess, like pregnant women or people who are giving labor or birth, or I don't know what kind of, I think it's like, I don't know, it's morphine, but it's like something gets stronger, that it put it into my spinal cord, into my spine, to kind of like not have me feel the pain, not have me feel that. So I was in there for like, so that lasted for Lasted for, I'll say, I think it was like 2 years in total, or like a year and like 8 months. I had the bar inside of me because it's basically like braces. You put it inside, and so you know how you have braces and eventually they line your teeth, they tighten it up and stuff like that. Well, I was supposed to have, hold on 1 second. I was supposed to, that was good. My mom gave it to me. She's awesome. She's lovely. She's like, my mom, man, I never understood her like in the past, like, and I'll explain to you more about this. So Pactus, right? I had to have that for 2 years, but Pactus actually out like when I was researching this at the time, which was probably in like 2006. I was getting started, I was like 15, and I think I was skateboarding then before the surgery, a little bit, and I can ollie, I can, like, basically it's like you jump really high, I can do that, I can do a bunch of tricks. I wasn't really consistent though, but I could do it, and when I fell, it feel like it hurt, and I don't know if you understand, like, if say hurt, you fall, you hurt, that's easy, but with my body, the way the Pactus is, it kind of makes things different. So muscles, so places that lack muscle to protect my bone structure, protect me, or protect my body, to my, I guess, my organs or everything, like my muscular skeletal system, muscular formation, or muscular, I want to say density, or things, we'll say, or muscular, I want to say deformity, but I guess it is deformity, yeah. The muscles are deformed in a sense, are not placed correctly, which is what holds all your bones, in place, and gives you the structure that you have. So if they're in the wrong place, they're not holding your muscles in certain areas like they're supposed to, you kind of like off balance, or let's say you fall, and a person who's like, and this is not racism, or it's not bad, or some, I say typically black people, like black men, and I can go into that more in detail about the slavery stuff, but which is not, it's kind of, it's a nuanced point. You'll understand what I mean. It's like, typically, right, since they had to go through so much more extraneous things, their genetic formation is a lot more, we'll say, developed, we'll say. Is a lot more inclined for, let's say, you know, running and athletic things, or physical labor, stuff like that. Whereas you can see maybe typically more, I'll say, because you can't really get racist, I mean, because a lot of people have this. It's not only that, it's just also Russians, and who have like good, like, I guess you could say, very big, sturdy, like, people. But I would say the balance for many African descended African people who are from that place, their bodies are more centered in the earth than other people, more than I would say others. Like they have been put through more strenuous activity, more heavy lifting. So when you heavy lift, your body has to accommodate itself to the earth, and so that with gravity, and so your body has to form a certain way, and to survive, like, and to go through like all the, say, this times of slavery, to, or even when there were wars, like back in I think the Zulu tribe and all these things, like in Africa, they had to kind of like, they're very adept at that, right? You can see through their muscle tone. It's a lot. It's more refined. It's more easily done. Now, not all people are like that. I understand that. Some people, like Hispanics, are like, have really chiseled bodies, like, you know, they're really good, and Caucasians as well. Caucasians are, but if you want to say like more typically, or more, see, when it comes to slave, when it comes to, well, just to get back to my practice thing, we'll get into the slave thing. So people were I guess from England, or from Britain, or from all these places, they had Jesus with them. They had all these things. They weren't Africans. The tribes, they were called savages, or the people there, the natives of the land of that area. They grew up with medicine men. They understood spirit in a different way, different forms. We come in with, I guess you could say, the moral authority, the moral ground, and say, look, this is how we do things, and then, this is the way God wants it. So we're teaching you. Hopefully, gotta work with us. You gotta get with the program. Now, they were not perfect beings doing this. Okay, so they're serving the Lord or God, but they weren't perfect beings doing this perfect, in so many ways, but they still did it. Okay, there's a way to explain these things, like how I am now, without having to go through all that violence, all that shit. But I mean, it's what we ended up. It's what happened. It's what ended up going on. I'm not proud of it. I'm not happy with it. I'm not. I mean, like I said, God didn't make everything awesome and everything, all that stuff. So, but the point is now is to understand that, right? Understand where all that stuff comes from. Okay, from the mistake that God made, not giving us the knowledge, not giving us that perfect wisdom, that perfection, that guidance of innately inside to kind of maneuver everything, maneuver our lives. And so that's why that happened. Okay, and when you talk about people in India, it's the same thing. When the time of Gandhi, also the time of Hitler, and there's a lot of misunderstanding with how things are. Okay, so people are kind of trying to make things the best with what they believe or what they think is right, what they know to be true, or what they know. Some people have the wisdom. Some people also have the lies inside, and they would have they would act on the wisdom or wisely in some areas, or in some things, or in some aspects, some categories of their life, some relationships, and other business, or politics, or political conquering, or democracy, or democratic visions. They would do to spread enlightenment. All these things. There's so many kinds of groups of people that are around trying to do what's best. Okay, what you'll notice is that people aren't bad, in their heart, truly. It's just their minds or their bodies, it's like being told, imagine all these Santa Claus stories not being real, and you don't know what to think, and going through life you're kind of questioning everybody, and nobody knows what they're doing, nobody understands fully. Some people know more than some people know a lot, some know more, or know more about some areas of life, and I mean, it's kind of like a whole chaotic thing. It's everybody doesn't understand what's going on. Nobody's doing the right thing, or all right, or everything perfectly, or everything that the Spirit calls them to do. The Spirit has. They're not going within. They're not, so many mistakes, and and that's just what we have. Okay, that's what we have. So the main thing is to not really go against other people. Is to understand where they're coming from, understand them, because there's a reason that they're like that. Okay, and just like how you would want to be understood, you do the same. Now, I'm not saying to not stick up for yourself or not hold your ground. I'm saying that when the time comes to do what's right, you do what's right. You do what's the right thing. And but to be wise and to actually know what the right thing is, know what the correct thing is, know what heaven is about, and know what your place to Jesus is, what your purpose is. That's important, because you'll see in probably the hour and a half of the video of the seventh dimension, what that's like, and that's kind of the direction we're all headed. We're all going. It's to take millions of years to do, but I mean, it's cool. it's worth it. You know, it's worth the energy, it's worth the time, it's worth it. And that's basically what we're all moving towards now. I have met Christians that were bad, that were evil. I have met atheists that were holy, that were good. I'll say good. Now, holy is another thing, a whole another dimension, but another category. But they're good. Okay. So just because you're a Christian, just because you believe in Jesus and all that, like, doesn't actually mean you're a good person or that you're exempt from all this stuff. Okay. You have to actually go within and actually see what you're actually doing wrong. Okay. Go to God. You know, do all these things. Do what's necessary to repent. You know, serve the kingdom. Serve us. Do your part. Okay. Now there are many. I want to say like tricks, or like, I want to say not tricks, but philosophy or principles, moral things to keep in mind. Just because I want to say you're truthful doesn't mean you're a good person. Okay, you're a good guy, you're a good woman. Doesn't mean you're saying that. It's more of where you're coming from. Inside, when you say the truth, okay, when you say what's happening, because you can be a dick, you can be an evil person that knows the truth. You understand that tries to put your moral high ground on someone, but you're actually evil motherfucker, or evil person, evil bitch, and pussy or coward, and you don't want to face the you don't want to be a good person, you don't know about it. You don't know about how you can be a good person. And that's what happened in heaven. That's what happened with the war in heaven against Lucifer, aka the devil, or Samael, or whoever, just the Lucifer, or that deity, that person, that angel, or that man, or spirit, or idea, we'll say, that idea of heaven, or that place, or that realm. The reason he was able to convince the angels, okay, the other people, is because he was right. He was actually truthful, but he was a dick. He was an ass. So nobody people were like, oh, this guy's right, but he's an asshole. And they didn't. Some knew he was right and could understand him, but didn't understand how he was saying it, what he was about, or what he was like, what he was truly about. You know. About ruling and heaven, but he was ruling with a horrible kind of energy. That's why God and me and Jesus are angels, and Archangel Michael, and had to myself, which is who I have been shown to be, that person, that being, and I'll explain through many some experience, and it was a little before. Well, we'll finish this, but we'll get into. So a while ago, right? I was I didn't really repent and didn't seek holiness or all that, but my left brain, I think, was pretty active. It was my left neocortex, so it was just top part of the brain. It was pretty active. It was pretty good. And just so you know, people who are left brain active and not right brain, not also right brain, will have a lot of logic, or can have some sort of understanding of reason and things like that. But they won't necessarily have a spiritual aspect to them. They'll kind of be more like a robot, sort of, think without a heart, and do all these things. And a lot of people are like that, who are in police departments. And Satanism knows that. Satan teachings know that. They're aware. Now, the thing is not to just be one side; it's to be both sides, to be balanced, to have both, the heaven, the spiritual, and the reason, and the logic. Which comes together. Creativity and intellect comes together to create intelligence, or to create harmony, or of both, you could say, the spiritual world and the material world, or in the laws of nature, things like that. How to put things together, how to make things like you want to create this, and then how do you create it? Well, you use the left side. You use the logic, reasoning, you use the science, you use all that. And see, I met people that are Christian, but then they regard science as like, oh, it's like voodoo, or it's like bad, or it's negative, evil, or something. And they literally have a part of their brain that's not being activated. Okay, so they may be a good person, but they lack understanding. They lack wisdom or knowledge of science. Because I remember I was talking to a friend. He was like, yeah, science is bullcrap, is stupid, or like whatever. Or like he just didn't, like, I guess, appreciate what science was, which is also a creation from Allah, from the material world. And he would be like, oh, it's retarded, like it's dumb. And I'm like, we were in the car, and I'm like, dude, it's because of science you're in a car right now. Like, someone was able to piece this all together, and that's not because of science. Like, science made that happen. But then at the same time, I also knew I couldn't deny his spiritual integrity. I couldn't deny where his heart was at, right? Where he was like devoted to God. And at that time, I really wasn't. I was kind of like skeptical. I was like, which is what happens when you're only left brain dominant. You become skeptical. You're a skeptical person. You're most likely an atheist. And you're an atheist, or like you believe in totalitarianism. You think you can rule through violence. You think you can do all that. Now, this information that I'm giving you, like about parts of the brain, like, or like these aspects of the neocortex and like brain activity, that didn't come from some psychological textbook that I read, or that was shown on like online, or I think they call it DSM, or I think that's what they call it, not DMV, but DSM, or they use psychology where they diagnose all the illnesses. No, this came from a person who was, you're gonna probably like freak out or something, but like I said, I wanted to understand everything from all angles. Okay, so he was a person who had infiltrated, in the grand scheme of things, Satan culture, Satan knowledge, and how they use that, how they understand things. Okay, and one of the things that they understand is that brain thing I just told you about. But that right neocortex, that people be religious, like in a sense, like, now watch this now. People will be so religious they'll run based more on their emotions, right? And they'll do weird, crazy, outlandish things, like stupid things, because they didn't have the logic side to kind of balance them out, to kind of help them see the bigger picture, or see how to do it without getting hurt, or to make it, you know, peaceful, like on a good place. So they would kind of do things that are outlandish, or that hurt themselves in the long run, like in the physical. Okay, so the point is to have the balance, to have the spiritual side, to have that spiritual knowledge, and also have that physical knowledge, physical world, physical reality. Have both. Okay, so then you can do things with that. Okay, to have both. Now, when it comes now, oh yeah, I don't think I said he infiltrated like the Satan knowledge, or like that stuff, and that's what they did. Okay. Now, we were talking about Pectus. Let's get about it. Oh yeah, so about Michael. Pectus. We'll say against Pectus. So against the Michael thing. Pectus. Okay. So when I was getting surgery, they said I could. Once I was done, and I had the bar inside of me. I was on Percocet, like, for the pain. Like, I'm not, wasn't addicted or anything. I wasn't. Although my behavior was not good, because I lacked wisdom, understanding of my predicament situation. They said after a month, you know, you can probably like walk and I guess do all this stuff. And after 3 months, you can do like sports, like activities, but not physical contact sports. Like, I guess like you can run, or like you can ride a bike, or you can do stuff like, not like football. But after 6 months, you can do football, right? But after probably, I think, like the third week, I felt fine. I was on the Percocet. Apparently it was the Percocet. I'm not exact. It was the Percocet that made me feel okay. So I went ahead and I rode a bike with my brother, because I want to go to my friend's house. Friend who has my name, who's Manny Pizarro. Manny, a good friend in high school. Or we hung out a lot. We had a good sense. We had like good humor with one another. Good how do you say chemistry, I guess, and like the way we kind of enjoyed ourselves, enjoyed life. Jokes and stuff, like funny things. We had the same kind of sense of humor. We could throw jokes all the time. We joked around a lot. And, we got each other's like humor, I guess, right? That's me, and that's it was fun. Like it was good. It was great, actually. It was great. It was one of my best moments, I'll say friendships in my life. Friendships ever, I guess. Friendships in this time, like in that time, or I had my other friend Brian, who's kind of a fun, awesome person, or like deeply hurt, maybe deeply struggling, or deeply in pain. For his mother passed away when he was a freshman. These people were all my older classmates. I was a freshman, and they were older classmates and stuff. So I went to go see my friend Manny, right? I go see him, and I rode my bike there, and everything was fine. But then my mom told me I couldn't leave, and I was talking to Manny and whatever, and also my brother. He rode his bike, and I rode my bike. I had like a cruiser kind of thing, and I had like pegs in the back, and it was cool. It's a nice bike. It's a nice cruiser. And my mom called. Like we were hanging out for a while, like probably like an hour, 30 minutes, hour and a half. My mom called, like, "Where are you?" And I was like, and I started lying. I was like, "Oh, like, cause I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get her mad." So, "Oh yeah, I'm like right around the corner or something like that." So I was like, "Yeah, get on your bike. Let's get out of here." So we were riding our bike, and I didn't want to get in trouble. And then my brother's bike, we were riding back quick, and my brother's bike broke. Like the chain fell out or something like that. And I was like, "Go, like, let's come on, hop on my bike. We'll leave the bike here. Leave your bike, like hop on." So I started riding with him now with more weight, and I was going like this, like and that kind of movement moved the bar, moved this, which they had like kind of bolted in, and it moved it up. I started feeling pain throughout the day, like later on, or like throughout a couple weeks, or like a week and a half. It started hurting a lot. We went to go get it. I was like, "Mom, let's go to the doctor." My mom was like, "Let's go to the doctor." And we got x-rays done. They said, "Yeah, the bar moved." So and they realized that I had an allergic reaction once they operated on me again. So I got operated on twice. So that was later on. I was scheduled for like surgery. I think like July something or August something, August 5th or 8th. For another one. He said Dr. Drucker is his name. Cool guy. Cool. I'll say like maybe a little indifferent, probably a little indifferent dude. He was like, "Yeah, just I would say it came out like 97% like good, but it wasn't as good as the first time." So whatever. This time I went home. Eventually went home after like 3 days in the ICU or something like that. Not as much, I think. By the way, it was horrible. It sucked because I was like vomiting like a lot, and but I was going through. I saw the World Series though. Not the World Series, the World Cup. Like every single game that year, or that World Cup. I think it was like, I guess it had to be like 2008. When 2008? 2006. Not sure. Anyhow, and I saw like pretty much all. I probably missed like 4 games. 4 matches, and that was fun. That was cool. I appreciated soccer so much at that time. Okay, so time went. I eventually got home, and I followed the stuff, But I would say that my posture, probably when I went back, and I remember this, like when I would go sit back down in the chair, I would kind of like slouch a little bit like this, and I guess probably like I wasn't really told to make sure you keep your posture straight, make sure you do these exercises like planks and stuff to kind of strengthen your body, strengthen your muscles while you're doing it, or while you have the bar in you, like do those activities, and it'll keep your body like perfect, like level and stuff. I wasn't told that, so I thought of that later on, like when all this stuff didn't go so well. That's why I still have a concave, but it wasn't as deep as it was when I first like had the surgery, or when I first went to get it. Like it's not as deep. So that's a good thing, right? Now, how do you say, time went on, and I started skating, and eventually, probably after like 6 months or something, or 7 months, and I was kind of still feeling like something was off, and I can feel like I can like move it a little bit, but I was like, nah, like, I mean, it's fine, you know. I still skated because like, oh, that's what the doctor said, or like it should be all right, like, you know, whatever. But I would still be afraid to fall because I was like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble or like get hurt. I want to like, I still wanted to skate, but at the same time, I still want to get that surgery done, so like for it to go well, for it to happen. And I didn't want to get another surgery, so I was kind of like screwed, kind of having to just kind of deal with it. Eventually got to the point, probably after like a year and 6 months in, it was so painful that I couldn't lay down anymore. I felt like I want, not an elephant, but that's the image that came to my head, but the elephant was there, like sending pressure there on my chest. So I was like, oh damn, I was like, oh, this sucks. So my parents had the, you know, the loving parents that they are, the good people they are, they bought me like a chair, and I would just basically sleep in a chair, like it was like comfortable. I mean, you can see it, I guess, right. That chair. So, so I was in that chair, and eventually I was like, the pain got so extreme that I was just like, just take this thing out. If it goes back, I don't care. Not getting another surgery. I'm done. And by the way, during that time, like, I was also in school. I was talking to this friend, or like this love interest, I would say, I had. And she was so nice. I mean, she was so, I guess she was like tomboy, like person. And we talk all the time, like on the phone and all that stuff. I used to ride my bike. Like, she lived like in probably like 30 minutes away on bike. Probably not like an hour. And I'd ride there probably at night and just hang out with her, just talk. Wouldn't do anything physical or like anything like, I want to say anything like, I probably kissed her once, or I did one thing, or like whatever it was. I saw her tits, or like one time, and then she saw my dick, and she saw my penis, or she saw my, you know, my stuff, and but we never really did anything. And I was sort of like afraid to do all that. I was afraid, and I kind of realized that later. I was afraid to get into that relationship. I was afraid to get all like, you know, filled with love, and like afraid. And I didn't understand why. And I remember one time she wanted to play basketball or something like that, and she said, "Oh, if you do it, like I'll give you a kiss, or we'll kiss," or something like that. I guess trying to like make me like love her like in that way, express it. And I think one time I was gonna kiss her. Like, we were gonna kiss, but like it was kind of like I was kind of like I don't know if I should do this. I heard someone come, and I turned and I stopped. So I think we just touched, but like just pecked. And then my brother came, and they were here to pick me up, and I left. And then I remember I was like walking out. One time I was like in her room, and her mom was at the door in her room, and I had to like I guess like jump out the window, or like dive through, or I felt like I had to dive through. I think that's when I said the story I said, but I had to like run, and I ran away, and like I don't know, it was whatever. It was funny, I guess. And what do you call it? On that ride home after that kiss thing, I was like, God, I want to know why I'm like this. Like, why am I scared, or like why am I reluctant to just do it, like to be with her, like why? And so eventually I think I got the surgery, and then she came to visit me, and I was kind of like, I guess like, I don't know, like get away from me, like I don't want to deal with you. And we just like drifted apart. Like I just couldn't. And my life from then on was like devoted to psychology. Like I wanted to understand like what's wrong. Like at the same time, like throughout my life, my parents would kind of argue and stuff. They would talk to me, and I was trying to figure out like, well, what's wrong with them? Like, how do I fix this? And I tried so many things, a lot of stuff, and it just wouldn't fix itself. So I mean, eventually I went to Nova, Southeastern University, and got a scholarship. You know, I got had like a 4.1 weighted GPA and a 3.5 unweighted GPA, unweighted for class, during from 8th grade to 12th grade. I went an extra day of class, I think like 3 times a month on Saturdays from like 8 to like 2:30, 2:15. I would do engineering classes, and that would add me like a science credit, I guess, each year. So I had a lot of credits in that, or a lot of credits in that place. And we ended up, it was a fun place. I liked that place a lot. We had a lot of fun. But later on, like, I wanted, like, when I was like in freshman year of college, it was kind of like more, I was kind of like, okay, it's new college, new opportunities, new people, like new impressions, like new like stuff, and let's do this, like, let's get it done, like, let's have fun. I studied like pickup artist stuff. I wanted to get with like a girl, like girls, or like a lot of them, or like some, or like whatever, because I hear that's like, because it's good, right? Like, it's good. And I remember in some parts of like, I was like, why can't I like get involved with these girls, or like, and especially like in high school. And I remember this girl in elementary, like she went to kiss me or something, like, she's Katie, I think her name was Katie, I believe that was her name, Katie. And I was kind of like, no, like, I was like, no, like, and I was like, why am I like that? Like, why? Why? So eventually, throughout time, and after probably about like maybe like about a year ago, I was able to figure, after the holiness stuff and everything, like after I kind of dedicated myself, that's when I got all the answers I was looking for. I learned that I had died in a past life in a church by some guy that stabbed me in the back because he was a jealous boyfriend. And that made so much sense. Like, that made me like, oh, that's why I came in here. And I was like, I'm not loved, because eventually I learned I didn't want to love because I knew it would kill me. I would probably die because of love. And I was like that. And so they say they didn't know what happened with Pacta Excavatum. And if you study, I used to study chakras probably like in 2011. I was preparing for 2012 in case shit went down. People like polar shift and all that, in case like had to fight. And basically, imagine if people had no food, they were just manic people. Like, imagine them with like rabies, or like rabid people, like just maniacs. And I would train for that. Like, I would just train like all the time. Like, we would train like mind, body, spirit, like everything. With my teacher, master martial arts teacher, expert, or guru, or man, or Brandon Mahone. We went by the name of Nova, and that was a whole ordeal. Like, it was a whole like experience. Like, it was fun, and it was also like kind of like sucked a lot, because nothing happened, and it was kind of like a waste, or it was kind of like it was experience. Like, you learned a lot, but learned stuff, but I'd rather not have to go through that. So eventually I went to self-discovery, life mastery, and that's when I was, before that, when I was studying, this was like 2012 time, like probably like maybe like March 2012, not December 21st, but I experienced like bliss for 3 days. And I told my teacher, Brandon, he was like, oh, that's just this level of enlightenment, that's a stage. And he's one who taught me about Anthony Robbins, Buddhism. He didn't go into detail. He told me about, he didn't tell me to be holy or anything like that, but talked about like God being aliens, and an alien person, and all these things, Sumerians, and Anunnaki, and all this stuff. Like, I was learning conspiracy theory, like mad, like crazy, like a lot. And learning about this other side to life. And so, eventually, you see, I don't want the battery to die. So, I'll cut this, and we'll continue from that point. I'm going to get the charger and let this charge, so let this happen. Alright, so I went through, or
that 2012 stuff helped me understand like so many different areas. But I oh man, this is probably the worst or the most probably been like stupid or thing a person can do for themselves. I'm tired, or I'm exhausted now. I'm tired. I'll get into all that in a second. Nero. This is probably the most secret thing, or the most hidden thing, hidden aspect of my psyche. Since I had my left part of my brain activated, or since I was going through, I was, I guess, trying to just also save the people, save the planet, save the world. I was like, what would the devil do? What would the Antichrist do? What would the anti-person or religious person do to do destruction on Earth, or like all that, just destroy everything, or like, what would he do? Like, think like the enemy, think like them. And so when I was in school, I'll think two things. I'll think of myself and what would the anti-thing do. Eventually, I mean, after so much stuff, I started seeing myself as that guy, as the bad person. And that freaked me out. I was like, damn, am I that person? Am I the bad guy? Am I the devil? Am I that person? Meanwhile, my right neocortex is inactivated, and eventually when I went to a workshop of self-discovery, the master even told me, he's like, yeah, your third eye is like blocked, it's like not good. And basically what it was is like, he was activated, or he was kind of open, but like this part wasn't. So that's where you find out who you are once it's all balanced. But I didn't know this, so I was doubtful, and I was kind of also trying to look out for everyone. I was thinking, what if the devil is actually, what if the Antichrist or the anti-establishment isn't the bad one? What if the bad ones are the supposed good ones? That's a whole other thing. So you start to say, what if they're right and they're wrong? What if the so-called good is actually evil? And what if the so-called evil is actually good? So that caused a lot of problems, because then I had to doubt who I was and everything like that. So the anti-establishment was kind of like, New World Order, or like New World stuff that was basically eventually like they would go against Christians, and us Christians would be like kind of hurt and stuff like that, and decapitated, and all these things, bad things would happen, the same revelations and all that, and all this, and that version of the revelations. Because what people don't know is, a lot of people don't know is that different versions of the Bible were created, and there are different revelations parts in each, I guess, version. So it's like, I mean, some versions don't even have 666 in there. They don't even have it. You can check. Like, the King James version doesn't have 666. It just says Mark of the Beast. Check that. I mean, I checked. Like, with sincerity, I'm like, yeah, that's not there. But yet, in the New King James version, it's there. So, and the Mormons say that the New King James version was tampered by Satanists, or Satan, or like the devil, or bad, or all that. Like, it was changed. So they use the King James version, which is different. It talks about, there being like palace made of crystals, and like different kinds of sapphire, and I think emerald, and all the other crystals, and the fountain of the, I guess, everlasting life, or flow under Jesus' throne and flow out and give everyone stuff, like, I guess, everlasting life, or they could drink, and that water was so good, so pure, and the energy from the crystals with the light, which is how people do crystal therapy, like eventually it energizes us, it gives us all these, gives us powers, or like abilities or like ways to live longer, and we're just so like good, right? And so that's where my collapse happened. And I don't want this to happen to anyone else, unless they must get that, unless they must experience that. That's why I say all this stuff, so you can kind of get out of that and not go through what I went through. Because I had it all to people, I would say I have it going for me. What they would think, right? I have it going for me, at least most people, or a lot of people in my family and all that stuff. I had it going for me, good grades, blah, blah, like, whatever. I didn't have a girlfriend, but I didn't have a girl, but whatever, right? That's just me. You don't have to have a girl, blah, blah. You can be single, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to do that, and so on and so forth. I did martial arts for a while. I mean, whatever. So, so I was confronted, and when I was growing up, I had Jesus principles in my head, right? I was confronted by Rob James in his workshop, and I was saying that he was saying was wrong. Mainstream science is wrong, and I said, when Yoda said beware of evil, like beware of the dark side, I was like, be aware of the dark side. And he was like, no, like don't go in it, like don't even like look at it, don't even do none of that. So eventually he yelled in my face, and when that happened, I didn't know what to do. I was like, it was like either like take him out, like kick his ass, or kind of just like run away, like run out, like run, I guess, inside, basically run internally, and I guess kind of close yourself, I guess, or kind of like just depart, or like some like what, or that's basically what I felt. And in that moment, like it had two choices to make: basically kick his ass, or just like retreat, like inside, like go inside, like that's it. And I chose the safer route, which was to go inside, which was to retreat, which was to go in, like, because in my head in that moment, Jesus like came to my head and was like, just walk away, just walk away, just walk out. So I did, and in that moment, because I plan on being a trainer for them, I plan on doing all these things for them, like with them. I love their work, because that was the first time I was actually able to feel like this sort of like love and things that I had in those workshops. And I was like, there's something with these workshops and these techniques, I gotta learn it. So I spent a lot of time trying to learn it, like trying to master it. There's some things I didn't agree with, and so eventually I ended up leaving, and I eventually got, I guess, like low, and was kind of like in my mind, like on my bed, like kind of like, what's going on? Like I thought this was the right thing, like why don't I feel good, like why don't I feel awesome, like why don't I feel like I'm the king, like I'm the top guy, like I'm like good, like I don't feel that anymore, it's gone. Where is it? And so I kind of tried to like fight it, but the thing was, I wanted to feel that feeling again. I wanted to feel that. I thought they could give it to me. I thought I could learn from them, or I could somehow involve with them, or so I kept trying to find ways, and I would find ways to feel it, but it wouldn't be able to last. I couldn't control it for a long time. That bliss, that happiness, that I couldn't get it. So I was like, oh man, I gotta try stuff. Eventually, I was like, oh, I remember I had it with this girl, and she was a part of. She was in that. She was involved, we'll say, with the program. She was married, like she came to me, like we were like, I didn't go to her, she came to me, like I enjoyed her, I enjoyed that she was like actually interested in myself, who I was. Eventually I was able to feel, like we were sitting down one time, I was able to feel so much love, like I was like, it's like I opened myself up, I dropped everything, I dropped all my defenses. I like was like, okay, nothing's gonna happen, so I can love this person, because she's like, I'm not gonna do anything with her, like I'm not gonna marry her, I'm not gonna like, she's married, like I can feel this love with her, right? I can do it. It turned out to be an issue. It turned out to hurt, because then eventually I wanted to be with her, because I was feeling all these things. Like in my head, I was like, everything was perfect about this girl. I read things about Anthony Robbins, like it was like we had the same purpose. We wanted to build a school for kids, like for like I guess kids with like powers or like with like abilities or like superhuman stuff or like techniques that they can learn and all these things, like kind of like a mystic school or like a mutant school. Like we'd be like Professor Xavier and like I guess like if there was a female version that was like Professor Xavier, it would just be us two. Like it'd be us two. We would run that thing. And I was like, man, but she smoked weed. Like we vibe. We had, and I did her birth chart, like her V-Day birth chart. We had both Moon and Taurus. Like she was a Taurus, and I was on Pisces. Like it was like so good. It was like we worked so well. Like she understood me, like my mind. She understood like who I was, what I was like. And eventually, like, and when that workshop happened, it all went downhill. And I didn't see her. I didn't see her for a while. And then I wanted to see her again because I wanted to recreate those feelings. I wanted to build a school. I wanted to get my life going. And when I went there, like her husband was like about to leave or something like that. And I was like, man, like I don't know what to do. Like, do I get with her? Like, I mean, do I go behind his back? Like, do I like that's adultery or like that's like? And I'm like, but I feel that's love. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm confused. Like, I want to feel it, but like, is it wrong to go to her to feel love? Like, is it wrong? So that was what got, and there's this moment where I had to choose to save her, and eventually the cop came or whatever, and was like, and I was like, look, I have to save her, right? And then the cop was looking at me like, the cop was wondering like, is this guy for real? But then in my head, I wanted to be a nice person and not do anything, like not go for it, like not go in and like, oh, like, you know, world's ending or like blah blah, like world's going to shit, like I want you with me or like I want to be with you, and like all that. That's what it all would have went down. Probably would have hit her husband, like punched her husband, like I would have done all this stuff, like get her out and all these things. I was gonna, and then it would suck for him. For him, I would think, right? So I was like, forget it. And then, but in that moment when I had to decide that, when the cop was right there and he was grabbing my arm, I was feeling the energy, like the bliss. I was feeling it. And when I said, forget it, be nice, and walk away, it shut off. And I was puzzling that moment for a long time. At that time I ended up going to the I got Baker acted, and then eventually I was like, you know what, like probably like months later, I was like, I have to go back, like I have to get that, like it's the right choice, like, or like it's what I must do. And I needed that feeling, I needed it. So eventually I was going, I was like, no. So one of their teachings was like the negative reversal, right? So it's like what I call negative reversal. So you feel bad so you can feel good. That's one of the things was feel bad, feel good. So and one of their, so I was like, okay, so if I had this voice telling me like you're the Antichrist, like you're like that's like if you accept that, it'll go away. Like you won't have that thought anymore, right? You won't have that in your head. You won't have to battle that anymore. Like it'll go away because that's what the teaching was, right? That's what I was taught, right? That's what he was telling me. You accept that bad part, and then you kind of move on. It goes away. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna accept it. So I accepted. When I accepted it, like that was the Antichrist. That was Antichrist. That was the devil. Or like I was like the Antichrist. I was like, all right, I accepted it, and then immediately I felt like this like deepening in my heart, like in my chest, where the practice is. And I was like, all right, what do I do? But it felt like dark. It felt like evil. It felt like sinister. It didn't feel good. And I was like, okay, let's just see where this goes. Like, just run with it. Maybe this isn't bad. Maybe it's just like a part, you know, to get me to the next step. So I went and I said, what do I do? And then I said, kill Christians. And I was like, okay, just go with it. Maybe it's just gonna, like, it's all right. Like, won't sell her for this. Like, you know, it's just go with the teaching. Like, go with what he said, right? Like, it's you accept it and then you move on. Like, you just go on. And so I walked to the kitchen and I saw him and I grabbed the knife and like a steak knife. It wasn't like a huge butcher knife or anything like that. And I looked at my mom, and then I was gonna, like, it was like, do it, like, get her now. And then I was like, and I was feeling horrible, and I was like, something's wrong. I was like, something is not right. Something's wrong with me. Like, something is not going well. And so I was like, all right, just drop the knife. I told her, I said, Mom, something's wrong with me. Like, I don't know what's happening. And then I was like, okay, and I was like, all right, let me follow it a little bit and just see where it goes. So I went and I grabbed my mom's face. I grabbed her, and I was like, and it was literally like I was gonna kill my mom, kill her. I was gonna break her neck. I was gonna like snap it. And I was like, and I stopped myself. Like, I was like, but like it was like already implanted, so it wanted to happen. Like, it was like it was who I was. So it was going through with it. It was gonna go through with it. So eventually I was like, all right, fuck this. Like, I was like, I'm just gonna stop. After I tested a little bit more, like, I didn't do it, and my brother was there. He was like, what the? He's like, kind of like, what's going on? And I eventually just sat down, and I was just like, yo, I'm fucked up. Like, this is fucked up. I am fucked up. And eventually the paramedics came, and I was like, you know, they took me to the hospital. I guess they strapped me down, or they were gonna strap me down. Well, not yet. Like, they were just kind of talking to me, and I was like, yeah. Well, they asked, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I'm the Antichrist. I'm the Antichrist. The Antichrist. And the Antichrist. The Antichrist. The Antichrist. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, I had a hard time accepting that. That's what it was. Okay, so they were kind of looking at me like kind of like weird, and I was telling them, look, the government's fucked up. There's a conspiracy and all this shit, like Illuminati, all that stuff. Like, it was like I was the devil, but like helping them. And I was like, this is so weird, and what's coming out of my mouth. And eventually, I was like, I gotta go to her. I gotta feel that feeling again. So I was basically gonna fight the cops. I was gonna, like, and I knew martial arts. I was gonna take this one lady down, and then my brother, I guess he saw, he knew I was gonna do that, so he jumped on the table and he held me down. He's a strong dude and did wrestling. He does wrestling, big strong dude. So he's my younger brother. He's 5 years younger, but he's a strong dude. And I did Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, bodybuilding stuff and everything. Like, he's a strong dude. He's a fighter. We trained together. It sucked, yo. It's like, eventually they strapped me down. I remember trying to get out using like all the energy I had, and so my mouth got so dry because I guess like I was having so much energy that I was expelling like everything. And eventually I got admitted to Anderson Crisis Unit, and like that was hard, man. It was a hard time. Like, I remember things from Eckhart Tolle that kind of got me through it. I was going through it, man. It was difficult. Like, it was hard. One time, like, I was there for like 2 weeks, and they gave me Benadryl. When I would take the Benadryl, and the first time I had like murderous thoughts, like I was like I gotta kill someone. I was like, but I was aware of that, and I was like, this is wrong. Like, I can't be doing this. And eventually it passed, and I had to kind of like shut my mind off. Like, those are just thoughts, because this is what Eckhart Tolle says. You'll identify with your thoughts. That's basically what you do. You identify with them, and it like runs you, and it runs your body, so you kind of like get all freaked out and stuff. So and I was thinking, I didn't know it was a Benadryl. I didn't know it was that. Like, that was, I guess, triggering it, or being like a catalyst for this stuff to come out. And it just got weird. Like, then the next day they gave it to me again, and I didn't know it was a Benadryl, but I was thinking it could be the Benadryl. When I took the Benadryl, those same thoughts happened again. Like, I was like going nuts. So I eventually stopped taking it. Like, I eventually found a way. I was like, okay, those are just thoughts, and I just laid on my bed, and I got through that. But then the next thing came, and I was kind of like restless. Like, I was almost like I couldn't do anything. Like, I felt so like bad. Like, all I had was a TV there, and it was at night, and it sucked. It sucked for me. It sucked. So eventually I prayed, and I was like, God, just help me get out of this. And eventually it stopped. All those things stopped. And I was like, there's something to do with prayer that's important. Because I never really prayed before. I really like asked kind of in that pleading way, like, help me. Like, in that kind of disastrous situation for my psyche. So I eventually did that. And eventually, when I got out, my body, I couldn't even control it. Like, it was like kind of like weird. My thoughts, I still had some like murderous thoughts and murdering things, and I was like just trying to stay still and like just not do anything, like just chill. And after time went by, I was able to snap out of it. They gave me medication, you know, all that stuff. I guess helped. I guess kind of keep me calm, I guess, and just like not do anything. And I remember I would still go into the kitchen. I would look at it, oh, like, yeah, kill these guys, kill them. And I'd be like, fuck, like this is so fucked up in my head. But at the same time, I was like kind of like happy or like enjoying or like, oh, it'd be nice, or it'd be relief, like it'd be nice, like to do that. And but I was like, I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to. Like I don't want to go to hell too. So that's another thing. I didn't want that for myself. So I was like, until I figure this out, I can't be killing people. I can't hurt anyone. I gotta know what's right and what's wrong. I gotta know. I remember I didn't have my right part of my brain active, so I always, and I felt bad. So I was like, this can't be good, because then I would go through my whole life like feeling bad. So like, this can't be good. And eventually, through time, I was able to get out of that. I didn't have those thoughts anymore. And probably like 6 months down the road, I didn't have those thoughts anymore. But then I kind of got, eventually, my body was kind of like back. But I had to kind of work into it, get into it again. And then I went into holiness again. Like after I was kind of pretty much settled, my body was good. Then I was like, all right, so this is the new start. So all that stuff I went through was crap. I haven't tried holiness yet, so let me give that a shot. And when I did, all that stuff that I said happened, repented, saw heaven, saw like who I was, and that's my life, I guess. And now I'm here, and I have a Buddhist teacher. I'm like a holy person. I'm seeking holiness, like I'm seeking only Jesus, and like serving God or heaven, serving my people, like my brothers and sisters, my spiritual family, like. And I went through all this stuff, Don't do this. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Because you'll regret it. You regret that shit. You regret it so much. Like, learn from my experience, man. Just don't go through with it, And now I have blessings. Like, I can feel good all the time. I feel like it's what I always wanted. Okay, so what I was looking for the whole time. Okay. So that's my story. That's who I am. That's big synopsis of my life. Seek holiness, yo. Get present. Meditate. But seek holiness though, because that'll help you out. That'll guide you. That'll help you go on the right path. Through my experience, you're able to understand the whole, universe, the whole reality, the whole spectrum of things. Now, the future. When I was doing all this repenting, there are different parts of the brain that are meant for certain things. I told you with the right neocortex. For the right neocortex, this top part of the brain is basically the creativity center, but also with the spiritual kingdom, the spiritual culture, the spiritual, vibe. Okay. I didn't tell you about the Michael thing. Okay, so before all this repenting stuff, before I was looking for God, right? I think before all this Baker Act stuff, or maybe a little bit after. I'm not exactly sure. I think it was after or before. I went to this church, or there's people who do spiritual stuff, like they talk to ghosts and spirits. They talk, I guess demons or like people, like anything. Benevolent and malevolent beings, or benevolent beings, or it's not really benevolent, but I didn't see like bad, so I was like, all right. And then when they were in there and they were talking to a spirit, they're channeling a spirit, they said, oh, someone in here needs to focus on God more, focus on God. And they looked at me and they pointed to me, and I was like, what the fuck, like, what's going on? And I was like, okay. And I was like, in my head, I was like, I do. But I didn't, of course, I didn't. But in my head, I was like, I do. I didn't say that, but, and I think after that, we did an exercise, and we had to kind of close our eyes and go up and see what, like, go up into like this, up these stairs and open like there's like this dark portal door, like this door, like this gateway, like some, like, he says, like, your dream is on the other side, or like your who you are, or something is on the other side, something good or benevolent or something like that. So when I opened it, I saw like this person with, like, I guess like this white armor and all white, and I was like, I guess they were flying, and they had like this big sword, like this sword in their hand, and they looked nice, like beautiful. And I was like, Michael, is that Michael? I was like, is that Michael trying to talk? Is that Michael? Like, why Michael? Like, what's going on? Like, what is that? And so I was like, huh. Like, I was like, eventually, you know, it was over, and I kind of was just like kind of weirded out, and I was like, okay. And then I guess like years went by, or like 2 years went by, and then when I went to the holiness and stuff like that, I saw a vision for myself. When I activated the cerebellum, which is right here, which is what it was called, the cerebellum, yeah, from what I remember, and that's where visions are stored. And when I was activating it, when it was activated, I wasn't consciously like, I think I was like, oh yeah, activate this or something like that. Like, when it's activating, I saw a vision, and I saw Jesus, me, my brother, Brandon, Rob, in that sequence. So Jesus, me, my brother, Brandon, Rob, and then a whole bunch of blurred people, like a blurred, and it was like mostly tan. I saw mostly like tan people, but it was they were all blurred, and we were flying in the sky. We were following Jesus. We were flying in the sky, and I was like, oh, it's the war. It's the war. And then I was like, okay. And then I was like, when is it? Like, and then I saw a date on the bottom of the vision, like a date, and it said January 7th. Well, first it said January. It said a date. Okay, it said a date. And then I was like, okay, I understand. So I started like I started like telling Brandon. I started telling people. Telling some folks, my parents, and I didn't really take it so seriously. But as I go on through life, as I kind of understand more, I was like, how come when I activated it, it just happened? And my guess is that it's me seeing the future, or it's me activating a certain part that probably I need to see, or that God is showing me, and that God is in like more like in the higher regions of the brain, or higher regions, like higher dimension, or higher frequency, or higher vision, that I was getting a glimpse at, seeing for myself what it was. And then I would see myself in the future, like, you know, I guess killing other like people that Jesus would tell me to kill. Jesus would tell me to destroy. And I was like, okay, like I was like, great, Jesus says so, all right, that's what I do, you know, that's what I'll do. But I eventually got tested. I eventually had to fight my brother. I was receiving messages. Jesus was telling me to fight my brother, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't bear that. So when I refused, and I was following all his orders in the past, like when I was probably like had 3 hours of messages. I talked to actually Ganesh, his sister. They told me there's 20,520,806 different planets, galaxies that are in the universe, and that eventually I created a universe 7, which came from like my thoughts, I guess, from my thought. And they said I would rule this galaxy called Niran, on the planet Niran, the galaxy Niran, on the planet Niran, and it'll be. And then I think I might have the names mixed up, but the planet was 5 times bigger than Jupiter. Right? I would own like a tenth of it. I would live there, and I have like, I guess, like wives, like people I was with, my family, my wives, children, or wives, concubines, like, or just people who live with me, who I had sex with, or had sex all the time, or sex with, in some fashion or in some way, in some area, and some stuff, I guess, we'll just say stuff, and I was confused by that. I mean, I was like, and it was like a red, blue planet. I mean, blue suns that revolve around it, and that goes with. That's cool. That's great. Since it goes with Indian religion with the Yuga cycles, and basically how we have our solar system is a binary star system, where 2 suns eventually go like this, then they go like this, or sorry, they go like this, and then they go around like that, and they go like this. And the farther, and we're here with this sun, and when we're far, we're in the Iron Age, and as we get closer, it's like our consciousness grows. And when we get here and the 2 suns are revolving around each other, it's like the light bulb is really high. And when we're in that stage, when they're circling each other, when they're really close, we're in the golden age, and we're like live millions of years old, and we're like awesome people. Like we're yogis, mystics, like we're all these things. This is what I learned from 2012 documentary, A New Earth or a Change, or by Brave Archer Films. That's what they talked about, and I was like, okay, that's fascinating. And we're on that. We're like in the Iron Age, going into the Bronze Age, or into the Silver Age, Bronze Age or Silver Age, Iron Age, Bronze Age, Bronze Age. So we're getting more conscious. We're getting more. That's why we're getting smart. But it eventually goes back down in the cycle. We eventually lose it. So our goal is to eventually go to planets that have this cycle, that have this sort of energy, and we stay on them and not necessarily have to downgrade at all. You understand? You don't experience this sort of downgrade. And there's so many planets and so many universes and so many people who will own a universe, or who will own a galaxy, or who will oversee a galaxy, and that's what their job is. And there's still like people who are, you know, doing stuff like singing and dancing, or dancers, or just fighters, and we would basically serve the Lord in this reality, in this dimension, this place, and we would create that everywhere, in all realities, like in all planets, galaxies, in this world, this universe. So that's basically what our job is, and what my job is, or as Archangel Michael, to make sure that we enforce it. I guess peace or holiness, or that we force good things for our people, for everyone, and that nobody takes advantage of us, who we are. And that's basically my goal, my destiny, my purpose, my creation for being here. So that's it. This can be all bullshit. This can be all negative for you or for me, but I feel awesome. So, and when you go to Scripture, it says when you are filled with joy, filled with good, like, and even Eckhart Tolle says it's like all those actions that come from that place where you're feeling cheerful and all that are good, like have good fruits, or have great things to it. So great, I guess, worth or righteousness and all that. So I committed myself sincerely, and Jesus is the guy who gives me orders. Jesus helps me. And I would say these people are already on the planet. Jesus is. I'm not exactly sure about Jesus being here, or Jesus per se, like who he is, but I kind of expect that in that time, like when we're gonna fight or go against the, I guess, the New World Order, anti-Christ, anti-person, anti-Christ, or anti-being, or anti-establishment person, and their people, he'll be there. Okay, and Mormons think that, you know, that's just how I see it. At the same time, there's other people. I saw my brother as Archangel Ariel, or something like that. It just came to me like Oriel or Ariel, like Uriel, maybe Uriel or Ariel, Ari, and he was second in command. Like he was behind. He's my younger brother. I guess he's under me, like under my authority. And that Jesus is the one. Like, this is for, like, I guess the military of Jesus, like of the kingdom, of heaven's people, of God, of benevolence, of awesome, of us, you know, of prosperity, of Jesus, and all that. We're cool. Like, I would say each of us has a different talent. Like, it doesn't mean I'm better at my job, at my purpose, or like my purpose is the archangel, right? Doesn't mean I'm better than him as a person. Doesn't mean I'm better than anyone as a person. Someone will be a better singer, someone will be a better dancer, someone will be a better, you know, skateboarder, or someone will be a better, and that's just who they are. And it's not just that, they're also made for different purposes, so you can't really get to that thing. Someone may be really good at talking sense to people, talking reason, talking logic. They're really good at that, and that's what they're about. That's their purpose. It may not be a job person, it may not be something fancy or something like you think is awesome, but to them it's what they live for, it's who they are. They feel bliss, they feel happiness, so that's them. Okay, I'm not saying, so I'm not like more than, I'm just me, like I'm just my bliss, like my job, my spirit, and you have yours too. Okay, each spirit has accompanying things. Oh my god, whatever. I was away from the camera. Alright, so might have to do it over. I want to, I guess, yeah. I'm gonna probably revisit that. That's mainly it. So if you have questions about your life, watch the video, the next segment, and you'll see what I do to get that blissful state, what you can do. You may have to jump around, exercise, do yoga or something, but that's you, you know what I mean? That's you, and you have your own body, your own purpose, your own destiny, your own soul, so you get that. But I'm giving you, this is mine, so you can take what you need, like what's for you, what's rightfully yours, your spirit asking to do, and you do it. Okay. Wow. Like, thank you for listening. Like, truly, like, it's an honor. It's an honor to give this to you, to be a part of this with you. Please share if it's safe for you to do so, if it's okay, if you're good, like if you're holy, if you're wise, do it if it's wise, okay? If it's wise. Don't get into trouble, okay? Don't get hurt, don't hurt yourself. Find the easy way, because that's what God gives you. And there's such, and just another side note, it can be too easy. You want to, and if it's too easy, you want to add a little bit more difficulty, okay? Because otherwise you're just kind of like vegetating. You're not really progressing, okay? So enjoy yourself, have fun, feel the bliss, feel the harmony, devote yourself to holiness, the Holy Spirit, to God. And I'll see you. Yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you in the future. I'll see you soon. See you in paradise. See you. We have an eternity to get to know each other. I mean, it's awesome. We're part of the family, okay? We're part of the family, so rest easy. You have people looking out for you, okay? We're looking out for you. Like, the bad stuff's not going to keep happening anymore. And you have to understand that people don't know they're doing bad. And I don't know a soul, and this is not going to happen. People who, alright, thought this would be this, but what I recently learned is that people, when they are destroyed and they are killed in the war, they will go to hell. They will go to find a way. They will not exist. They will be able to repent later, but it will be their choice. They'll be able to repent later, not in the physical, like not until they're sorry. Okay? So you'll suffer until you're sorry, and then you'll be able to go to heaven, and then you can come back down to earth, to the physical, and exist with us. Exist with the kingdom. Okay? So there's hope. So we're not doing bad. We're not. God's taking, like, Jesus knows, like, I'm going to be in hell helping people out to get out of hell, to get them to God. Okay? I'll be there. The point is to have hell destroyed, to have heaven destroyed, and just live in paradise in the physical world. That's the goal. Okay? Love you. Hate the evil, or hate the bad actions. No one's inherently evil. They're just confused and do bad things. Okay, and they don't know what they're doing. So if they knew, they wouldn't do it. If they knew a better way, they wouldn't do it. Okay, that's just how it is. But it takes sometimes getting yelled in the face, or almost confronting your whole fears in order to get that done. Okay. I guess as the people say, namaste, or namaste, New Age, I guess they say that. This is not about, pretending things are real or good when they're not. It's about accepting them for what they are. I'm going to give you an example. One time I was skateboarding. I haven't skated in a while, and I was like, I thought it would be so good. And then when I went there, I sucked. Like, well, I was not doing what I thought I was going to do. I was good planning, right? And I felt like kind of like angry or frustrated. I didn't feel good. I felt frustrated. I felt bad. I felt like, damn, why is this happening to me? I'm good, so why is this happening? And when I realized, I was like, oh, I'm bad, like, at skating. Like, I suck. I suck at it. I suck at skating. And this is like, I mean, I used to be good, like, better. A lot better. Like, a lot more, I guess, or like, I mean, I could do a more trick. I was lighter, I had gained weight. And by the way, this weight that I gained, I didn't gain it because, like, I'm an idiot, or, I guess you could say I'm an idiot, but it wasn't like an accident. I purposely gained weight to understand what my teacher knew. I was like, man, what do the fat people know? Like, what is this? I mean, he has, like, he says he has, this is his words, he has, like, at that time, he said, like, 15 women. He said bitches, but that's what he said. I think that's just kind of like a thing between guys, and he doesn't really mean it, like, in a bad way, in an unromantic way, but kind of like just like a funny thing, like a way to, like, kind of show off a little bit, or not be cool, or, like, his thing, like, just how some guys talk. That's him. Like, he doesn't mean it that way. I don't think he's not bad in that way. But that's him, And so I wanted to learn what he did, and so in doing that, I learned some things. I gained weight. I started eating stuff. I started, I gained his stomach, like all that. And when I got too far, when I couldn't run or stuff like that anymore, like I was like, okay, yeah, I gotta start. I gotta cut it down. Like, I'm not gonna go that far. Maybe I should. Maybe I might. Just to see, like, what it's like. I noticed when you're bigger, you have to think more. Right? You gotta think more to kind of survive, because you can't run and stuff like that. You gotta think more. So that can help. You can learn things in that. You can learn. Not saying that's how I see myself. I see myself as a skinny person, as a muscular dude. But that's it. That's how I see it, or how I'm thinking now. I'll put more videos up. I'll put more information regarding what I discover, and you can message me for a consultation, for advice, for wisdom. I can focus on you. My goal is to have 10 people who I devote work time to. Okay, 10 people that would pay me, and that would I don't know, pay. Well, not maybe donate, or like, how do you say, like, I guess contribute, or pay 10% of what they have, what they owe, or what they make, give it to me, and I guide them with what they do. Just like a church, but I'm just devoted to select group, and I still have these videos, and you can still donate to me, to the like school self-masters, to us, to the kingdom. And I realized, like, when it comes to the tithe, the reason that the tithe is important, I understand, I thought people were trying to take your money, your stuff. They are, but it's to further the kingdom, to show that people who are good, who are like, that's why when you donate to your churches, like donate to your pastors, your teachers, your spiritual, is to say, like, we appreciate you for guiding us, for being our shepherd, to show us the kingdom. That shows how well we are, and that's why I don't understand why the Vatican was that way, but that's why we're glorified, like, in that respect. Okay, so it's nice, like, it helps. And even in the Bible it says, if you give to I think you give to the church, or give to the kingdom, like your tithe, or like your 10% of your money or your energy or your stuff to them, you'll test me, or like try me, and you'll see how many much more blessings you will receive. Now, I'm saying that to get money, to get more money, to get more for us, for my people, for my family, for my, you know, my living, my everything that I'm about. I'm looking for that. Seeking to achieve. Yeah. Okay. I'll be done soon. I'll see. So, kind of feel this thing, like, I feel bliss, but at the same time it's like something's like disharmonious inside of me right now. Probably gonna spend the next like months, or next days, or hours, or years understanding more of that, and you'll see more of what I'm saying, or what I'm about, what I'm prophesizing, what I'm detailing, what I understand, the wisdom I have, the teachings God sent Jesus for. Okay? Important. Very important. I live in Pembroke Pines. If you would like to live here, that'd be amazing. I'd love to see you, to see everyone who understands holiness, who understands this vision, who understands this wisdom, who understands this life, to come enjoy it with me, enjoy it, and make this place prosper, make this place, I mean, I have so many ideas for this place, I have so many things I'm doing for us, like the people here that I'm in contact with, that I'm with, and who's been with me for, like, since the beginning, to come by, you know, I have, you know, open arms for you, you know. We're family, we're spiritual family. We can be family. We can be a wife, one of the wife collector, someone who goes and gets a wife for me, or wives, or concubines, or people who satisfy, like, me or us sexually, or in a love-making way, in a romantic way, in a marriage. Just like King Solomon did. This would not be, of course, unless the laws change, like paper, or maybe more God bond, by our word, or by our emotions, or how we actually feel towards one another. How you feel towards each other, towards us, towards me. How you feel towards me. Okay. Just, I'm the best at me, at my job, at my understanding, my wisdom, my master skills, and my masterful insight. There's other masters, other teachers. I wanted to talk about, like, if I could release the ceasefire and all bad stuff, and if you're gonna choose to be bad, or not choose to seek holiness, not choose anything, just wait till that war, wait till that time, and then you can get all your frustration out, or get all that demon shiznit, shitty crap, or shitty thing out. Shitty, I don't know. Ugh, like that demonic shit, that evil crap, evil philosophy that you don't understand where that leads. So you do that. Now we're peace here. Always getting hurt, but of course, justice happens. So it's up to you. So. Enjoy the day. Change. Learn the bad that you are, if you are bad, in your head, or in your heart, or in your understanding, like, because you don't know. And imagine finally being good and feeling good, man. You can feel good. You don't have to sleep with women without love, and you don't have to be with a guy you don't love or like. Not that fear, like, in a way that doesn't feel bad. You can have fear and it feels good, you know, because it's like a good fear. It's like God fear. It's like a blissful fear. It's like you're blissed. It's like yourself. It's who you are. It's acceptance of the truth, and it feels good. You know, it feels like my friend was inviting me to go pick up girls at a club, pick up girls places, and I don't. For the simple reason is that I feared jealous boyfriends, jealous people, like jealous lovers or all that. Still do, out of respect, because I don't want to mess with them. But, I mean, I don't want to mess with them, so, I mean, if they come to me, or if I'm like, don't get mad, don't get angry, you know, don't get pissed, or don't get evil towards me, okay? I'm just helping them out. I'm just being myself. I'm not trying to take, I mean, I was telling my friend, like, all the girls I'm with, you can be with them too. Like, I don't care. Like I love them anyways. I'm not gonna not love them for being with you, for not being with anyone. Still gonna do my purpose. You know, serve Jesus #1. Then comes a wife, wives, or the people, my kids, all that. Like, it's good. You know, it's great. It's holy. You know, it's pure. It's true. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy time here on Earth. Enjoy the video. Enjoy me getting into the blissful state, which you'll see is kind of unorthodox, but it works. Like, it's real. It's holy. Like, it's pure. You know. So, and if you're a Christian, if you pastor, you know that what I'm saying is on point. Like, I'm saying some good stuff. I'm saying Jesus is #1. I'm not saying he's not like #2. I'm not saying none of that. Explain things about the devil you didn't understand, or you probably didn't, you had a feeling about. Enjoy the Spirit, you know. That's when you're with God and all that stuff. So, you know, you would absorb that, get it, and you understand it. You know, you get it. Okay, you'll feel me. Okay, I told you literally all my, I guess, hidden stuff. All of it. I can't think of another thing that's bad or that's evil that was in my past that I didn't understand. I will say this though. Respect everything, learn to appreciate everything, and enjoy yourself. Enjoy the time here. Enjoy the moment, even if it's bad. Even if it sucks, enjoy it anyways. Because you can be in a sucky situation and still have the Spirit within you. Okay? You can still feel bliss. Okay? Even if the world's going to crap, shit, you can still feel happy as hell in that situation. Okay? Remember that. Love you. Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Mike, Archangel Manny. So signing off.
Don't. Don't. Calm the brain. Cool. Cool. Damn. Heaven on physical or dimension 7, 8, 7, 7. Take millions, long time, long amounts of effort, long amounts, like damn, lots of negative, neglectful, neglecting of damn. It's about as real as I can be, about as real as ever. I've been, or I've seen. think like shit. Heaven, right? Or heaven consciousness, conscious, like, you know, awareness or being. Needs or requires or has to kind of implant or embed itself, I want to say like devotion, like a phenomenon or like a thing, I would say, or energy or motivation or commitment, drive, whatever it takes, whatever you must do, you can do, or you can, to kind of let all of it out, let all of that like clumped up or like old or outdated, you know, patterns or because thinking I could do this more often, easily, or better than before in my past. It's like bliss or heaven coming to us, to everyone, to Jesus, Jesus Christ, followers or believers or faith holders, united, or unite. Fuck. Damn. It's like I see you in my heart or my life, and desire more bliss, more harmony, more heaven, more enlightened people or men. It's a dream, I guess, is a hope, goal of mine, and maybe you can help. That would be awesome and cool. Think of, like, you want to hold that feeling, right? That good energy, that good vibe, good loving, like, spirit, and do anything or do what it takes
to kind of get yourself out, like get yourself in that more, like all the time, like every second, like every millisecond, every millimeter you walk, every thing, you just you're in that. It feels awesome. It feels great. Like, it feels so good. It feels perfect. I'm like it all. As much as I can, as much as available or like allowed, or yeah, I'll say available or because sometimes like that you saw, I was even like that you get like sleepy kind of, you get kind of tired. I'll be so like happy, like so blissful, like blissed, and but after like some time, it's like it wants more, like it wants higher levels, and my body can't, my spirit or my life form, lifestyle. Suits is whatever it can be, is whatever I'm able to, is whatever allowed, like available, like it's whatever happens. Not really against anything, against like things happening. It's just more like how I react or feel like embedded in my system, in my heart, in my heart chakra, heart kingdom, about regarding or with the moment, or with what's happening, what's going on, what's happening. I desire female energy, or stuff like love, companionship, commitment, or loyal to me serving them, and God and Jesus Christ, Jesus Savior, the Savior of ignorant, evil, bad. Because he helped. So, I mean, it's nice, you know. It's cool. It's cool. Think of God as the beacon, as a beacon, as life protector. Many will not like what I'm about to say, what I'm about to tell you, and it's just reality. It's just how it is. It's just how life is. Life is like. It's not complaining like energy. It's just accepting the fact of what it is, accepting what's happening. Now,
God isn't perfect, isn't awesome, like how you think He, like how you believe. We would, if that were the case, knowledge of good and evil, knowledge of life, would be handed to us, handed over on a silver platter, just handed. Nobody, if they know what bad or evil does, and where it takes you, like where you'll end up, and how you'll inevitably change, whether it's you're alive and physical in the body, or you're in spirit and you're facing, your torture or annihilation or everything, like everything along those lines, it. The point is to win together. That's the point. You can be right. It just says how Lucy or Samael was correct, was right, but an asshole. So that's basically why the war happened in heaven, in that place. I'm sure you know what that's like. People are assholes, even because they're right. Like, it's not about being like it's about being good and true. God wasn't content, or let's just say that there's a lot of character development, character growth for all spirit, all his children. A lot of character development that needs to happen. It takes like millions of eons, or like centuries, like just long time. It takes like super long. Like into the future, that's where we'll go. Our character will be so pure, like so great. It'd be nice, it'd be cool. We'll ascend beyond the seventh dimension, the seventh reality. Go beyond, go beyond what you think, what you can conceive, what you're able to comprehend now. We'd be different, we'd be smart, like great, like insane, like so smart, so wise, so good, like great, awesome, amazing, benevolence oriented, just spectacular, just cool. Take long, super long. Like, it'd take, oh man, like not like, and what's amazing, what's awesome is that it's enjoyable. Like, it's a nice experience. Sometimes, some of it, like some days or some moments will be difficult, will be shit or crappy, like horrible. But we'll get through it. We'll move on. We'll push past it. Eventually, we'll be like in a place where we stop or we evolve beyond let's say lust, maybe beyond lust. But that'll be like far, far. Not. Not. It's more like we go past, like we experience something great after. Kind of like it'll be sex, love, like will help us ascend past it. Will help us go beyond that. Take time. It'll take, like I said, like millions, years. Long time. I see a place, basically kind of like the Garden of Eden, the garden, and I see me walking, but really content. And I'm not sure what I'm walking towards or what I'm doing, like what I'm striving for. Maybe God, maybe. So I can't see it. I can't see beyond that. Can't figure it out. I kind of see like a big city. Kind of see flying cars, flying vehicles, flying saucers, or like Star Wars crafts, like Star Wars kind of thing. But very tall building, very tall. Looks awesome. It's amazing. Amazing to me. Kind of like the center of God or Jesus or the people. And we'd be like ambassadors of God to other places. We do that for a long time, we do that, I guess forever, I guess. Like, it doesn't stop. Like, that doesn't stop. We just keep doing it. There's more. We just keep doing it. Keep going. Keep going. and I see a friend or a acquaintance, we'll say, like he's ahead, above us, everyone. Jesus is just the one, like the best of us, all of us. Be nice to be very open, very honest, very wise, with our talks, with our conversations. It's like every new conversation, every new thought, every new wise saying being inserted in our lives, in our minds, in our hearts, in our soul, and kind of moving up. Moving up. See a friend or Michael, Cheech, receiving a mission, receiving a duty, receiving some task. Like discovery of who he is, who he's about. Like a new job, like a new position. Dan, Bilzerian, Bills, and Bilzerian. So, brother, friend, ally, allied. Taylor, Swifty. Sure, not seeing anything. Selena Gomez, discovering herself, her heaven, her place in heaven, her Jesus, place in Jesus. Joanne, Scarlett Johansson, Scarlett. Loving my energy, love, passion, Sophia Vergara. Discovering her place, her Jesus position, Jesus filled duty. Damn. I'm hungry. Hate cooking though. Hate making food. No, I mean, it's fine. Like, I want, like, it has to be, I just hate cooking. I hate that stuff. I hate
Like I wish to never eat, to never have to consume anything, consume food, consume damn. Damn this. Like, I'm trying to think of food. Yeah, if I had my favorite meals, oh my gosh, yeah, awesome.